Hey, it's Tyler with another episode of Rusty Clam Garage, and today we are in my new carport, and we're going to be welding this side of things back on. I got some stuff to move out of the way first, but yeah, I'm going to be working on getting this cut up and fit to the side of that. A little bit cramped in here right now because of the other tent collapsing. Everything was stuffed into the shed, so I kind of just dumped the shed back into here once I got this carport up, and the truck was already in here, and everything we kind of rushed, putting the parts kind of all in a pile under the old tent, covered it in like the old canvas what I could, and then moved everything else into the shed. So now everything's kind of dumped back into here. I need to figure out some better storage, but today I kind of want to make some progress, so I'm gonna start fitting that up. So I'm gonna move this stuff, but I like to, when I start, I'm gonna make some reference measurements from like points on each piece that are like the same, so I can measure from and match up kind of where I'm gonna cut. I mean, it's always gonna be a little bit off because of like the width of the blade and whatever. Maybe it doesn't cut in the same spot, or my hand isn't accurate, my measurement's not accurate, but get as close as possible so we can get that side and this side both done, and then focus on the doors. But I'm gonna clean this up and get working on measuring this up. All right, so got it mocked up, took my measurements, I put the doors on to make sure it's gonna clear, and so far I think we're good. I just get these jack stands holding it roughly in place right now. It's gonna shift a little bit when I weld it, but so far so good. So I'm gonna go ahead and take the doors off and tack weld this thing into place. Everything's prepped up. Tried to put some lights in here for you, the bend pack light I got, and yeah, I'm gonna tack weld up the front and then work my way back, kind of work it into place. All right, that's tacked up. Now moving on to this one, and then that one. I can't quite get the settings for this welder right, but fuck if it's not solid. But now I gotta try, since this is lined up here, obviously there's a little gap on the inside, but gotta try to get it lined up with that back line now. Not so sure why this would be in line and this would be, but not that. So maybe this was bent a little bit, I don't know. But I mean, close enough is good enough for me anyway. All right, so with the jack, basically what I'm trying to do, I kind of did it on the other side too, and I used a ratchet strap, but I'm gonna try to get this to kind of push that corner into place, kind of close to where I want it, because really, as long as the outside body lines look fine and the doors closed, I could care less. That's not working. All right, so here's a little glimpse of how I do things around here. I have the jack on a piece that I cut off of the rocker panel, tilted so that I can push it in and make that line up. So now that, the little bit of working is pretty much right in line, which will make this whole side complete. So I'm gonna weld that up and toss the doors on and see what it looks like. All right, so everything's tacked up. I'm gonna charge some batteries tonight for my grinder and some lights, and come back tomorrow, finish welding this on, check the doors, everything like that, and then get to work on just kind of tidying it up on both sides and protecting the welds. And then we can move on to reassembling the doors and getting that back together and finishing the cab all together. I got some stuff underneath I'm gonna need for the cab mounts, but I can get the floors and these sides done without that stuff. So,
but that never happened. Actually, nothing happened for the rest of winter, because over the next month we got about 4 feet of snow, and on top of that it was freezing. So it was all completely really just demotivating, and I didn't get anything done for the rest of winter. I did, however, manage to completely fill my new garage. So my first thing this spring, now that everything's melted, is I got to get organized. But before I could get organized, I needed to sort out a daily driver. So as you can see here, this Cadillac's completely buried in the snow. I couldn't really work on it during that. But I did find something really cool on Facebook Marketplace, like right before everything thawed out, and that was a new transmission for a lot less than my rebuild was going to cost. So that video will be out next week. I know this was a short one, but if you want to support me for the next year coming up, please like, subscribe, leave a comment, anything. Follow me on all my socials, and there'll be a ton more content coming out. 1 full-length video a week on YouTube every week for the whole year. See you guys.